Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Angel Bless. I am here with Chris DeRenzo. He's a house inspector. And I just wanted to give you a perspective on house inspections and the importance of home inspections. Chris has been working with me for the last 8 years. And even though I recommend inspectors, I don't always dictate who should be doing your home inspection. The seller, the buyer will make his own decision. I always recommend Chris. However, the inspection is based on who you want and who you trust. I trust Chris, so I always recommend him. He's been with me for a long time. So Chris, just tell me a little bit about what's the importance of a home inspection?
Oh my goodness. There's so much that you need to know, and when most people are out looking at their homes, they're under so much pressure trying to find a home. They're looking at some of the things that are on their wish list, and they don't really notice the other issues going on. Some people will come in and say, oh, there's granite countertops. And the money that was spent on the granite countertops could have been used to take care of all the repairs that are needed underneath the house. They don't see that. And if they don't get a home inspection, and I'm not, like you said, I'm not recommending call me for everyone. Have a home inspection from a licensed home inspector. And you will be in much better position to know what you've gotten yourself into. Because even on brand new houses, I did one yesterday and I found all kinds of issues on this brand new house.
Yeah.
So, and it's not anybody's fault. It's the contractor is hiring all these subcontractors to do this work. And it's too much for one person to oversee when they've got multiple projects going on. So what happens, when I come in or another home inspector comes in, we are only focused on your job today. And we start from the outside. We look at the foundation, the siding, the gutters, how the yard slopes to the house, the roof. We come inside, check all the electrical that we can get to, the windows, and just go through the whole house. And that way, once we're done, we've kind of taken those rose-colored glasses off of you so you can see what's really going on.
Absolutely. I always get asked about the home inspection. Is it worth the money? And I always compare it to, would you buy a car without having it inspected? If the answer is no, then absolutely your biggest investment in a property is very important. Now, there's a huge difference between a home inspection and the appraiser. The home inspector is inspecting the property just like you're going to a doctor's office. You get your annual checkup, you get your checkup for your house. I tell people that the appraiser is not looking for deficiencies. So just talk a little bit about deficiencies versus cosmetics.
Okay. Cosmetic things. On a brand new house, we're going to mention the cosmetic things and call them out because you're buying a brand new car and you don't want scratches on it. Same with the house. But on a house that's 10, 15 years, 20 years old, 100 years old, you're going to have some cosmetic blemishes in the house. That's going to be some scratches, some paint deterioration, some wear, stuff like that. That's expected. Carpets are going to be worn, there's going to be stains on carpets because somebody has lived there and they didn't live in there, and they're not going to make, even after we've done the inspection, the house is not going to be brand new. Some people think that when we come in that we're supposed to identify every crack and crevice, and that's not part of it. Our inspection is a visual inspection looking for issues that are going to cost you money. A blemish is not going to cost you anything. You're going to create more by the time it's all said and done.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a very important question because I get asked this question all the time. What is your relationship, or how do you feel, what your relationship is to the client, or your responsibility to the client, and your relationship with the agent?
Okay.
This is a good question because I want you to be truthful.
Yeah, okay. There's a fine line with that. One of the things that I try not to do is scare everybody to death. I'm going to tell you all the issues and everything that I can find. When it comes down to it, the client is the one that pays me. I work for the client. You recommend me, but you can also recommend other people. Some realtors will have a list of 3 or 4 inspectors that they recommend. And sometimes I get a call, sometimes I don't. I try to stay busy, but the thing is like I said, I work for that client. My responsibility is to that client. And I get phone calls from realtors a lot of times that are not happy with me, and I've lost a couple of realtors that would not use me anymore because I was so nitpicky about things And, I'm sorry that I lost their business, but, I can sleep at night after the job that I did for that client.
Yeah, so I think I bring that out because it's important to buyers out there. For buyer beware of your inspector that's being coached. And one of the things that I stay out of the way. I tell Chris, you tell the seller, or excuse me, the buyer, outright tell them what you feel. Now, it's maybe some things that with my experiences, don't think that something is important, like a sticky door. So what are the major components of an inspection that you would say, goodness gracious, Angel, that person should not even buy that property. The walls are tumbling down. So what are the major components that you would, and of course you're not the decision maker as far as getting out of a contract, but what are the components that you, in your experience, have scared out buyers?
Well, it's funny you should say that because the inspection I just left from, the house was 111 years old. The floors were sagging, and it was wood destroying insect damage, termite damage underneath in the floor joists and the band boards. Water was coming in, the roofs were sagging, and then the roof on the back, they put a shingle roof and it was a flat roof. And if the pitch on the roof is not high enough, typically they recommend 3 or 4, 12 pitch, the shingle manufacturer won't warranty if they start leaking. So there was quite a few things here, and me and the buyer were talking about it, and I was like, I don't know the deal that you're getting on this property, but I can assure you that from what I saw on the MLS as to what this house cost there, you probably got the same amount in repairs to be done.
Wow.
So the house was $50,000, and but the siding had T111, which is a wood 4x8 sheeting, and basically what was happening was it wasn't flashed properly, and then the roof was dumping water onto it, so there was actual water in the walls, and so I had water inside, I had water outside, and it was just, the house was coming apart. And this was a single lady, and I didn't want to see her think that, because it was a great deal, that she
pay what you
needed
get
to
for it, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you
So
do.
I said, I can't tell you what to do, but because I don't know your situation. You may have, a family member that's a contractor or something like that. I don't try to get in that. What I want to tell you is there's a lot of money that's going to be spent here either way.
That's right.
And if you don't have it, please don't consider it.
That's right. Now, we're always going to say the agent is not going to be the decision maker for getting out of a contract or staying on a contract when it comes to repairs. It's really important that the voice of the inspector is allowed to be explaining everything that's going on. What I love about Chris, and I've had several inspectors because I recommend they decide, where at the end of the inspection, the inspector's walking away and say, hey, I'm spoiled with Chris because Chris actually provides a book for the client and goes line by line of the items that are deficiencies. Now, give me an example of a deficiency versus maybe something that, and I gave the example about the sticking door, but something that is critical. I always tell the buyers, the most important components we're looking at structural, plumbing, electrical, and of course if there's any obvious leaks going on, and water heater, the main components, maybe the HVAC. So what are some other things that you're looking at with critical eye? I know you're looking at everything with critical eye.
Well, I'm looking at the foundation. I'm looking, when I get on, so, I have a procedure that I follow when I get out to the house, and I try to stick to that. That's why I'm always early, because if I can be at the inspection early, I can walk around the house and nobody's asking me questions and stopping me from taking photos and, in my head. So I want to be able to come in and I do a walk around outside one way and I look at everything and then I change my perspective by changing the direction and walk around the other way. And then I'll come back when I'm getting ready to go underneath the house and I walk around it again. So time has changed, and every time you'll find something. So I'm looking at those foundation walls to see if there's any cracks, and I'm looking. One of the things that we find a lot of is the foundation vent screens are torn. Now that's not a big deal, and it's not an expensive thing, but that's how your insects and your rodents and your snakes are getting underneath the house. So that's a big deal. And it's an easy fix, but I call it out, for that. Again, like I said, foundations, I'm looking at water getting underneath the house. You're in Virginia, every house out there's got mold underneath it, So it's one of those things that is, how much is it under there, and can it be cleaned up easily? How much money is it going to cost to get it cleaned up? Those are the things that we look at. And then that's one thing in our region here that's different from most of the other regions is we actually put a cost to cure in our reports where, some places don't. I've been doing a lot of inspections out in the northern neck because those inspectors don't do that, and some of the realtors are like, hey, Chris does it, so they drag me.
That's interesting because contractually, a couple things. If you are going to request an inspection, request repairs for an inspection in the state of Virginia, the law changed about 4 years ago where you used to be able to get a contractor in and they would tell you what the deficiencies were. The law changed, thank God, for the MLS, and now it must be a licensed inspector. And of course have the knowledge and the experience to do the inspection. But that's a very good point, and things that normally get asked for are deficiencies, which are anything that may interfere with the function of the home itself.
Right.
So those are important factors again. So one last question. What do you want to leave our clients with? Those that are getting properties as is, buying it on the spot, and never even taking an inspection look at it. What would you tell those clients?
Oh my goodness. You need to get out there to the house. You need to see what's going on. And then if you're paying to have an inspection, be there for the inspection so that you can talk. I talk. We're already over on
That's okay.
on our time because I'm a talker. I want to tell my clients everything I can tell. I'm just, everything that I've taken in, I'm going to do a brain dump and I'm going to tell them everything that I saw. I want them to leave knowing what they're getting in their report. So, it's important.
So, if you guys want to contact Chris, I will put his contact information below the tidbits for home inspections. I absolutely refer him anytime, anywhere, anytime that he needs. But he's done inspections for my own property. His dad has done inspections. So it's a small-owned family business. I appreciate your time, Chris. I appreciate you giving me the time to talk to me about this. Yes. Thank you very much. And as always, if you're interested in the podcast, go ahead and share with everyone and let other folks know. This is for the state of Virginia, but the inspection, all the tidbits that he talked about are the same no matter where you buy. Thank you very much, folks.